Imagine waking up every morning, and the first thing you do is check if your house is still clinging to a cliff. And right beneath your feet isn't solid ground, but a bottomless abyss hundreds of meters deep. Around the world, there are homes that defy all laws of physics and the limits of human endurance. In some places, just a strong gust of wind is enough to make the whole structure shake. In others, the only way in is a bridge dangling in the open air. You might ask yourself, why would anyone build a house there? How have these lonely fortresses stood for centuries against the destruction of nature? In today's video, we'll explore the most dangerous homes on the planet, tourist spots that still exist to challenge your courage. You'll have to rub your eyes, thinking there's something out of a movie. Sumela Monastery, Turkey. To build a lasting structure, a solid foundation on the ground is always a golden rule. Yet in Turkey, there's a place where the foundation is driven directly into a vertical cliff face at an altitude of 1,200 meters. Sumela Monastery seems like a defiant miracle, hanging suspended between the clouds and the abyss of the Pontic Mountains. The only entrance to the monastery is a narrow stone staircase right on the cliff's edge. Here, you'll feel like you're disappearing into the thick fog of the Black Sea region. Started in 386 AD, the rock church is carved deep into a cave, preserving vibrant, thousand-year-old frescoes. According to legend, 2 monks undertook this insane task after receiving a vision of a sacred icon in a place fit only for eagles. Though once abandoned, Sumela still stands proudly as an impregnable spiritual fortress. Appearing and disappearing in the mist, this monastery is proof that humans can conquer any of nature's hardships. Matmata, Tunisia. There are cities with thousands of people that can easily be mistaken for abandoned lands. because all the houses are deep underground. In Matmata, Tunisia, the Berber people dug giant pits into the soft limestone more than 1,000 years ago. These cave dwellings have a central, circular, open-air courtyard. Around it, bedrooms and kitchens are carved deep into the cave walls to escape the scorching desert heat. Although this keeps the temperature at a steady 20 degrees Celsius, a rare heavy rain can soften the limestone, and the entire village could completely collapse. Additionally, moving around on the surface is also risky. You could take a wrong step and fall straight into someone's courtyard from a height of 5 to 10 meters. In this vast and arid landscape, getting lost or suffering from dehydration is a constant threat. Matmata was once chosen as the setting for the planet Tatooine in the movie Star Wars. It's a testament to human resilience, choosing to hide within nature to survive for millennia. Manshiyat Naser, Egypt. In Manshiyat, Egypt, the homes are terrifying in an unimaginable way. Here, trash isn't just waste, it's the very foundation of every house. The houses here have no roofs or glass windows. Instead, every floor, every hallway, and every rooftop is piled high with giant bags of garbage. Tons of unsorted waste pose an extremely high risk of disease and fire. The houses are often threatened by the excessive load from the trash and the risk of landslides from the Makatam cliffs right behind them. The most horrific tragedy here occurred in 2008. Giant limestone boulders weighing several hundred tons suddenly collapsed, burying at least 119 people under rock and garbage. Today, it is home to about 60,000 Zabaleen people. They have created the world's most effective manual recycling system, achieving a rate of up to 80%, far surpassing any modern city. Castellfollit de la Roca, Spain. If you're a sleepwalker, you should absolutely never live in the village of Castellfollit de la Roca. Because one wrong step out the door and you're in for a 50-meter free fall. This Spanish village stretches for over a kilometer on a basalt cliff about 50 meters high, formed on an ancient lava flow. All the stone houses are packed tightly together, clinging to the edge of the cliff. Below, the Fluvia and Torinel rivers cut deep through the earth, creating distinct vertical drops. At the village edge, the height is no longer just a number on paper. It's present in every breath, forcing you to be cautious with every step. Yet, it is here that the rows of old, earth-toned houses blend with the grey of the basalt rock. In the distance, a green valley stretches out, with the light changing at different times of the day. The contrast between the danger and the peace has turned this place into one of the most impressive viewpoints in Catalonia. Hotel Schafbergspitze, Austria. Not every dangerous residence is scary because of where it's built. Sometimes, the astonishment lies in the journey it takes to get there. Perched on the summit of Schafberg Mountain at an altitude of about 1,783 meters and built in 1862, Schafberg is one of the oldest mountain hotels in Austria. To get here, visitors must take a steep cogwheel railway about 5.8 kilometers long. Adventurous types can choose to hike up through rugged mountain trails. The hotel has a limited capacity of only a few dozen people, so booking a room isn't always easy. Each night, you'll need to pay about 150 euros per person, which includes a round-trip train ticket. That price is truly worth it for the million-dollar view right in front of you. The turquoise Lake Wolfgang Sea deep below, the Alps stretching to the horizon, and clouds drifting by at eye level. If you ever get a chance to visit Austria, this is an experience you shouldn't miss. Dar al-Hajar, Yemen. When you see Dar al-Hajar, Yemen, you'll have to wonder if it's an architectural marvel or an illusion misplaced in the middle of the desert. These gravity-defying houses are located right in the Wadi Dar Valley. The entire massive structure of fired brick is set on a natural rock pillar that's 20 meters high, rising majestically in the middle of the valley. This mansion is astonishing for its wells that pierce through the rock and a natural cooling system that keeps water cool in the scorching heat. Although it was once a luxurious residence, after the bloody assassination of Imam Yahya in 1948, the palace gradually became an uninhabited museum. The strange, solitary beauty of the fortress in the sky has become an immortal symbol on Yemeni banknotes. Through all of history's upheavals, Dar al-Hajar still stands firm, beckoning brave travelers to witness it once in their lifetime. Aescher Restaurant, Switzerland. If you think a fancy dinner has to be in the center of a modern city with dazzling lights, take a look at the Aescher Restaurant. Here, diners have to gamble with death for a seat at the table. Perched precariously at an altitude of 1,450 meters, this wooden house isn't built on the ground, but is plastered against a vertical limestone cliff face. To get here, you have to take a cable car to the top of Ebenalp, then walk through a dark cave and along a narrow path at the edge of a deep chasm. Despite the danger, Aescher is always fully booked. People flock here to enjoy the traditional rosti, a fried shredded potato dish, and local Appenzell beer. The restaurant has no back wall. Diners can touch the cold rock face right from their tables. The feeling of savoring a specialty while trembling as you look down at the lush green valley below is a breathtaking luxury. It's the contrast between a cozy meal and the brutal abyss that has made Aescher a must-visit destination for adventure lovers. Aogashima Island, Japan. On Aogashima Island, Japan, what people call home is right inside a giant active volcano. Located more than 350 kilometers south of Tokyo, Aogashima Island is part of the Izu archipelago and has a rare volcano within a volcano structure. The most recent eruption from 1781 to 1785 claimed the lives of nearly half the island's population. However, the more than 160 current residents still choose to stay on this piece of land that's less than 6 square kilometers. What's different is that they have turned the hazard into a benefit. Hot steam from the ground is used for cooking, heating, and developing geothermal tourism. Aogashima is not just a place to live, it's also a tourist attraction. The absolute isolation in the middle of the Pacific, where steep cliffs surround a lush green village, creates a forgotten paradise. Every year, the bravest travelers still find their way here to experience what it's like to live with the wrath of nature. Iruya, Argentina. Looking at these images, does this village look like it was dropped from the sky? This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie, but a real village in Argentina named Iruya. The village is situated at an altitude of 2,780 meters, squeezed between the steep cliffs of the Andes Mountains. During the rainy season, landslides can completely cut the village off from the outside world at any moment. To get here, you have to traverse treacherous, dusty trails that wind along the edge of a deep abyss. A single mistake is enough to send the entire vehicle plunging hundreds of meters into the valley below. Since 1753, with its narrow, steep, stone-paved streets, meant only for pedestrians. When you come here, you not only challenge your survival instincts on deadly roads, but you also get to immerse yourself in a unique indigenous culture. The surreal beauty of a village suspended between sky and earth is why anyone who sets foot here is both terrified and overwhelmed with awe. Kalapana, Hawaii, USA. Let's go to a place where the concept of solid ground is a luxury. In Kalapana, on the big island of Hawaii, people choose to build their homes on land where the ground beneath is still smoking. Kalapana is located directly beneath Kilauea, one of the most active volcanoes on the planet. This place was completely wiped out in 1990 by flows of red-hot lava that piled up several meters thick. The suffocating heat rising from the earth and the molten rock could return to swallow everything. Living conditions here are extremely basic. There's no power grid or public water system. All daily activities rely entirely on solar energy and absolute adaptation. Wooden houses still rise up amidst a vast black desert. Remnants of old roads can still be seen under the layer of rock. Here, every day you're alive is a victory against the fire goddess Pele. Halley 6 Research Station, Antarctica. Take a deep breath and forget about all the other scary things for a moment. Because now, the thing that will haunt you more than anything else is the cold. Welcome to Halley 6 Station in Antarctica. The building sits on the drifting Brunt ice shelf, facing 105 days of total darkness and temperatures that drop below -50 degrees Celsius. Halley 6 is equipped with giant hydraulic legs attached to skis, allowing the structure, which weighs thousands of tons, to walk to escape the collapsing ice. Here, scientists must work for several months to a year in complete isolation, thousands of kilometers from civilization. Their mission is to monitor the ozone layer and the Earth's magnetic field, data that is vital for the planet. Amidst the howling blizzards, the courage of these scientists is the fire that warms the coldest place on Earth. Siwa Oasis, Egypt. Have you ever heard of houses that are afraid of rain? In the Siwa Oasis of Egypt, such a village exists. The houses here are built with kershef, a mixture of mud, clay and salt taken from local lakes. Normally, they are as hard as rock under the scorching Saharan sun. But just one rare, heavy downpour, and the houses will melt like a giant block of sugar. In 1926, 3 days of heavy rain turned the majestic Shali fortress into a pile of ruins. Yet the people of Siwa resiliently rebuilt their homes using the same ancient material. Because it's the most effective way to keep the indoor air cool in the 50 degrees Celsius desert heat. Despite the extreme heat, Siwa still attracts visitors who come to soak in the crystal-clear salt lakes in the middle of the vast sand sea. Thanks to the extremely high salt concentration, tourists can float freely on the water's surface. Here, you can enjoy the beauty of a green paradise at any time, but you must always be ready for sandstorms that could wipe out the place you have to return to. Gamsutl, Russia. Welcome to Gamsutl, the loneliest ghost town in Russia, where time has stood still since its last resident passed away. Gamsutl is perched at an altitude of 1,500 meters on a mountain peak in the Republic of Dagestan. The village was built directly on sharp, jagged cliffs. With its shark-toothed terrain, the ancient stone houses cling to the edge of the abyss. A single crack or a misstep will send you plunging into the deep valley below. Gamsutl is completely uninhabited. The last resident died in 2015, leaving behind a ghost town completely isolated from the world. To reach it, visitors must hike for hours on steep, rocky trails. However, the beauty of the crumbling stone walls blending into the mountain scenery still attracts adventurers. Feeling the chill of desolation and the wind howling through the cracks in the rocks, you'll feel how small you are in the face of a heritage that is slowly being swallowed by nature. Coober Pedy, Australia. When you come to Coober Pedy, Australia, you'll have to completely redefine what a home is. Instead of building houses up towards the sky, people here dig deep underground to escape the furnace of the desert. Coober Pedy is the world's largest opal mining capital. The town's surface is scarred by hundreds of thousands of abandoned exploratory holes. Because the surface is so harsh, most residents live in dugouts, homes carved directly into the limestone hills. Even when it's a burning 50 degrees Celsius outside, the temperature inside these homes stays at an ideal 20 to 24 degrees Celsius. Tourists flock here to experience sleeping in dark, underground hotels. They are always warned, don't step backward when taking pictures, because a mining shaft could be right at your heels. Here, people accept a harsh life in exchange for the hope of striking it rich with gemstones. Do you think it's worth the trade-off? Tikal, Guatemala. Can you believe that in the middle of a treacherous jungle, where only the roar of wild animals is heard, there was once a mega city with over 100,000 residents? Tikal is evidence of an ancient Mayan civilization, with pyramids reaching nearly 70 meters high. Giant stone structures rise straight into the sky, along with a sophisticated reservoir system that sustained life in the harsh jungle. The danger comes from the steep stairways leading to the tops of the pyramids. In addition, there's the threat from the roots of ancient trees strangling the stone walls, and from venomous snakes and jaguars lurking in the shadows. Today, no residents remain. Tikal became a dead city after a mysterious exodus around 900 AD. However, it remains a magnet for tourists thanks to its mystical beauty. Stand on top of Temple 4 at dawn and watch the pyramid tops emerge from a vast sea of fog. You'll feel the majestic and haunting presence of what was once one of the most glorious kingdoms in human history. Frying Pan Tower, Atlantic Ocean. Looking at this picture, would you think it's an old, abandoned oil rig? In reality, it's a luxury retreat called Frying Pan Tower. The tower stands about 25 meters above sea level, 50 kilometers from the mainland, perched precariously in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So, if there's an emergency, you'll have to wait a very long time for a rescue team to reach you by helicopter. Tropical storms frequently sweep through with winds strong enough to shake the entire rusty steel structure. Below the tower, fierce ocean currents and schools of sharks are always lurking. Previously, Frying Pan Tower was a Coast Guard offshore light station. It is now privately owned. Its owner has converted the military sleeping quarters into a resting space for tourists. At Frying Pan Tower, you're surrounded by deep, dark, and mysterious blue ocean water. You'll get to experience a breathtaking sense of solitary, wild beauty that envelops the entire space. Westfjords, Iceland. In the Westfjords region of northwestern Iceland, the houses don't just face the cold. They lie directly beneath the barrels of towering cliffs hundreds of meters high. During the long, endless winter nights, giant masses of snow can come crashing down from the mountaintops at speeds of 100 to 150 kilometers per hour, crushing everything in their path. The 1995 tragedy in the village of Flateyri claimed 20 lives and completely wiped out many homes. It's a reminder that people are living surrounded by the White Death. But about 200 residents still hold on here. To protect themselves, they have built giant, V-shaped avalanche dams around the village. Every year, visitors come to admire the enchanting beauty of the majestic Dinjandi waterfall. But few dare to stay when winter arrives. As you sit in a warm house, looking out at the deep blue ocean, the avalanche dams are silently bearing the pressure of thousands of tons. Tlyaratinsky District, Russia. At first glance, these stone villages look like they are sliding down into the valley, but in reality, they have grown roots deep into the Dagestan mountains for over 6 centuries. It's a magnificent housing structure that you'll have to rub your eyes to believe is real. Formed in the 14th century, these villages were designed as impregnable fortresses to defend against invaders. With a structure of houses stacked on top of houses, the stone buildings, 10 to 15 meters high, grow directly out of the mountainside. At an altitude of over 2,000 meters, a single misstep could send you plunging into the deep abyss below. In winter, temperatures drop below -20 degrees Celsius. The trails become as slippery as glass. Daily travel becomes a life-or-death gamble. Today, about 15,000 people still live scattered throughout the area. Despite a life full of hardship, they remain to preserve the identity of the Highland warriors. Standing between the clouds and the deep blue waters of the river, the people here seem small. But they are incredibly resilient, daring to face danger in exchange for absolute freedom. Ellidaey Island, Iceland. A single white house in the middle of a lush green meadow, surrounded by sheer cliffs and the roar of the North Atlantic. Ellidaey in Iceland is a paradise for those who crave absolute privacy. Built in 1953, the house is completely cut off from the civilized world. The island is frequently battered by fierce storms from the North Atlantic. If any medical emergency occurs, it would be difficult for rescue to arrive in time. In the 1930s, the last 5 families left in search of an easier life. Today, the house is owned by the local hunting association, serving as a temporary shelter for members during the Atlantic puffin hunting season. Standing in this lonely house, you'll deeply feel the smallness of humanity in the face of great nature. This is the ideal paradise for those who crave absolute privacy. Fanjingshan, China. In China, there are houses perched right where the earth meets the sky, in the truest sense. Fanjingshan Mountain in Guizhou, at 2,570 meters, is one of the most important holy sites of Chinese Buddhism. The path to the summit consists of more than 8,000 steps that cling to the cliff face, getting steeper and narrower the higher you go. The small temple complex sits precariously on 2 towering rock peaks, connected only by a narrow stone bridge in mid-air. Standing on the summit, you can see layers of clouds rolling right beneath your feet and endless mountain ranges stretching to the horizon. This combination of danger and sacredness has made it one of the most impressive pilgrimage and exploration sites in China. What about you? Do you have the strength and courage to set foot here once in your life? Lindisfarne Castle. On Earth, there's a luxury vacation home on an island cut off by the tide. That's Lindisfarne Castle, located atop a 30-meter-high volcanic rock on Halley Island, England, built in the 1550s. When the tide rises up to 4 to 5 meters twice a day, the only road to the building is completely swallowed by the sea. The water rises astonishingly fast. If you don't time it right, you could get trapped by the deep blue water or watch your vehicle get swept away by the ocean. In 1901, the house was renovated from a ruined fortress into a unique holiday home for publishing magnate Edward Hudson. Every year, tens of thousands of tourists have to race against time. They must leave before the high tide rises and swallows the only road leading to the island. Siquijor Island, Philippines. Don't let the peaceful appearance of these bamboo and thatch houses fool you, because they are playing a game of survival with the ocean. Every year, the Philippines is hit by an average of 20 major storms, and Siquijor lies right in the path of super typhoons, with wind gusts of over 200 kilometers per hour. Many traditional houses here are built with wood, bamboo, and nipa leaves scattered along the coast or in sparse forests. When a typhoon hits, strong winds and heavy rain can easily rip off roofs, flood homes, or destroy parts of the structure in a short amount of time. Not only that, but the roughly 100,000 residents scattered here also face prolonged isolation. During the rainy season, the narrow roads can become slippery or get cut off, making travel and access to help difficult. In case of an emergency like illness or an accident, the distance to medical facilities can be a major obstacle. In Siquijor, danger doesn't strike suddenly. It is a persistent gamble for the fragile bamboo and thatch houses against tropical typhoons. Amidst the peaceful blue sea, these homes quietly face the challenges nature throws at them season after season. Yamal Peninsula, Russia. In the homes on the Yamal Peninsula, the scariest threat to survival isn't height, the sea, or wild animals, but a skin-slicing cold that numbs all senses. Yamal is one of the coldest places on Earth, where extreme temperatures can drop to minus 50 degrees Celsius. The houses here are conical tents called chums. They are made from a wooden frame and covered with dozens of thick layers of reindeer hide to withstand the brutal cold. In a cold that freezes your breath, if the fire in the middle of the tent goes out, death can come in just a few hours. The absolute isolation in a blinding blizzard makes any hope of rescue a distant dream, forcing people to rely entirely on their survival instincts. To get by, the indigenous Nenets people must wear perfectly insulated fur clothing and maintain a nomadic lifestyle with their reindeer herds. The fire is guarded like the heart of life itself, warming the small space in the vast, frozen wilderness. Rocinha Favela, Brazil. In Rocinha Favela, Brazil, houses don't grow from the ground, but from the rooftops of others. And this unique architecture has existed for nearly a century. The houses are built overlapping and packed tightly together with bare bricks and concrete. This massive, colorful architectural block clings to a steep, rocky hillside overlooking the deep blue ocean. Due to spontaneous construction without solid foundations on a steep slope, the risk of landslides is always present during the rainy season. In the narrow alleys, just wide enough for one person, a tangled web of electrical wires poses a high risk of fire. The presence of gangs and armed clashes also makes daily life a real challenge. With an estimated population of over 100,000 people, it's a city within a city. The beauty of Rocinha lies in its vibrant energy and the stunning view that encompasses the beach below. The question is, would you be willing to live precariously amidst danger to enjoy the freedom and fiery spirit of this Brazilian land? Civita di Bagnoregio, Italy. Civita di Bagnoregio in Italy was founded over 2,500 years ago by the Etruscans. The town sits on a tough rock formation, about 400 to 450 meters above sea level. Over the centuries, wind, rain, and earthquakes have continuously eroded the foundation. Parts of the town have crumbled into the valleys below. The area of Civita has shrunk noticeably. Today, Civita is only a few hectares, sitting alone in the vast valley. The only entrance to the village is a pedestrian bridge about 300 meters long, connecting the town to the outside world, suspended in mid-air. Today, the village has only about 10 to 15 permanent residents. Here, the ancient stone streets, small squares, and medieval architecture are almost perfectly preserved, standing out against the wild, hilly landscape. This poetic beauty makes the village one of the most unique destinations in Italy. Our journey to explore the world's most dangerous homes ends here, but its echoes will surely leave you with much to think about. After all, the places you've just seen are all epic testaments to the iron will and limitless creativity of humanity. If you were given a free ticket, which house on this list would you choose to spend a night in? Or do you know of any other crazy places? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next heart-pounding journeys. See you next time.